All right, let's take a look at a collection of statements and see what we can conclude using the laws of logic that we've developed so far. So here's a collection of statements. If Ed runs 10 miles on Monday, then he will not run the next day. We're also given that if Ed does not run on Tuesday, then he will run 10 miles on Wednesday. And finally, we're told that Ed ran 10 miles on Monday. Now, what can we conclude? Well, actually, if we write this out, we can make an interesting conclusion, because we can apply the law of detachment. You see, the first statement says, if Ed runs 10 miles on Monday, then he will not run the next day. Well, we're given at the very end that Ed ran 10 miles on Monday. We know that's true. So by the law of detachment, if I think of this as if P then Q, then this last statement tells me that P is true. That implies that Q is true. So now I know that it's the case that he will not run 10 miles the next day. Well, the next day, of course, is Tuesday. So look at the next conditional statement. If Ed does not run on Tuesday, then he will run 10 miles on Wednesday. Well, we can actually apply the law of detachment yet again with this conditional statement. Since we've already concluded that he will not run on Tuesday, I can apply this statement to see that since he will not run on Tuesday, then we know he will run 10 miles on Wednesday. My conclusion, after using the law of detachment twice, is that Ed will run 10 miles on Wednesday, which sounds sort of daunting since I'm Ed. All right, how about this one? If a triangle is equilateral, then it has three 60-degree angles. We're given that. We're also given that if a triangle has three 60-degree angles, then it is not an obtuse triangle. And finally, we're given that triangle ABC is equilateral. Well, here again, we can actually use the law of detachment. We have if P, then Q, and we're told that P actually is true. The triangle is equilateral. Therefore, we can conclude by the law of detachment that Q is true. And so therefore, we see that triangle ABC has three 60-degree angles. Well, look at the next conditional statement. It says that if a triangle has three 60-degree angles, then it is not obtuse. Not an obtuse triangle. Since we know that this triangle ABC has three 60-degree angles, then we can actually apply the law of detachment yet again and make the conclusion that since this hypothesis is true, then this conclusion is true as well, and therefore we see that triangle ABC is not an obtuse triangle. So my conclusion from all this information is that triangle ABC is not an obtuse triangle. Using the law of detachment and using the law of the syllogism are important tools in order to provide a method to establish the truth of complicated, interesting, and important mathematical statements. Congratulations, and enjoy looking at these statements and establishing their validity for yourself.